Hello and welcome back to Raw 12:51 AM's coverage of the Warwick SU Spring Elections. Today I'm here with Holly, a candidate for the education officer, and we're going to ask her a few questions, obviously, about why she feels she should be elected as the education officer for 2023 and 2024. So, Holly, first off, what are your key priorities if you were to be elected to the role?
I have 5 key areas that I'm focusing on. First, I'm committed to accessibility of education. So it's very personal to me because I'm a disabled student myself. So I've got a lot of first-hand experience of how difficult it can be to constantly have to ensure a level playing field. Um, so that's why I want to focus on things such as staff training on disability, awareness campaigns surrounding support available for students that are disabled, and also expansion of accessible study spaces. So more of them, as well as them to be open more often because they're currently only open certain hours of the day. Second, I'd like to enhance communication between departments and students. There's been like a lot of student uncertainty over the years with things like timetables and assessments. Um, Third, amidst the cost of living crisis, there are a lot of things I'd like to do to support students. So continuing the library, it's fine amnesty. It's one of those things because I started in the pandemic, so that ideally should continue. I would like to lobby departments to provide printing allowances for students. And I would like to ideally work together with international students officers to encourage the university to introduce a international fee freeze. Fourth, I want to ensure student choice is protected. So I want to encourage the university to reverse its decision in limiting students' choice in assessment methods. I want to protect students' rights to overcap because there was some talk about that stopping. And I want to improve feedback forums. Finally, fifth, I want to I want to elevate some issues that don't get recognition in mainstream curriculums. So I would like to organize teach outs on issues such as disability, queer issues, sexual health, things like that. I know there's a lot of work that's already happened with the Liberation Conference, so I'd like to continue that sort of stuff.
Yeah, and as part of that, how would you aim to simplify the academic mitigation process across all departments at the university?
Yeah. So I would ideally want to work with the VP for welfare to lobby the university to engage in a sensible discussion with disability, well-being, and academic staff to ensure a consistent baseline policy for mitigating circumstances.
Yeah, and would you encourage all departments to maintain self-certifications as part of that, as some departments do consider removing them?
Yep, as I said, one of my main priorities is accessibility. Self-certification is categorically part of that. Everyone gets short-term illnesses, personal circumstances happen. I think it's ridiculous that they only came in with COVID because they should have always been there. It's a basic accessibility right. Everyone gets sick. Things happen. I've injured myself many times at university. If I didn't have self certifications, I don't know what I would have done. So they're very important in my opinion.
Yeah, and how would you ensure that all students receive a good quality of education and ensure face-to-face teaching across all
Yeah.
of them?
So quality of education is a key priority for me, as is accessibility. And for me, face-to-face teaching is just as important as universal lecture capture. So throughout my time as VP for education, I'll be continuously liaising with SSLCs and other student focus groups to ensure that good quality of education is being received by all students.
Great. And with previous strike action and potential future strike action a concern for students, how would you represent their interest as education is potentially disrupted?
Yeah. So I'll be working with both colleagues in the SU, academic departments, any members of striking staff to coordinate a response that minimizes the impact on students. It's ultimately a dispute between the university and the ECU. Um, again, I will always be working with student groups, SSLCs, focus groups, to find out how to minimize that impact on students.
Yeah. And how would you support students if they chose to pursue outside compensation in light of the last few years of strike action and COVID causing disruption to education?
Yep. So ultimately, I think it's individuals' choice if they want to pursue legal action. It's their right to. We live in a democracy. Um, Tuition fees are obviously quite high right now, and the quality of education has been impacted by COVID and strikes. So it's within people's rights to do whatever they need to do in order to get compensation for the time they've missed and the quality of education that they've suffered from.
Yeah. And what are your plans to continue liberating the curriculum across all departments at work?
Yeah, as I mentioned before, I'd like to organize teach outs, continuing the Liberation Conference, ensuring that each department is committed to decolonizing the curriculum, ensuring that they're committed to representing their department through SSLC positions, things like that.
Yeah. And one final question, obviously, what makes you stand out from other education officer candidates this year?
I think for me, it's my background as a disabled student, as someone who has been advocating for myself this whole time and also advocating for other students without really needing to. So I think that experience as an advocate really makes me a good fit for this role.
Yeah. So that has been all the questions today. Thank you for Holly for taking part in this interview, and make sure to check out all the other interviews that we have as you decide who will be on your next SU team for the next academic year.